Hi students, so welcome to the channel. So in this video we are going to do quick revision of applications of trigonometry, so which is famously called as heights and distances. So for IIIT exam, as well as it is useful for all other exams related to the 10th class syllabus, right? So if you are new to this channel, so please subscribe the channel and watch the video till the end. So don't skip the video and please share with your friends and support my channel, right? So let us begin the chapter. Right, so first of all we are going to discuss, so what are the things that we have, so what are the applications. So it is used in navigation, land surveys, buildings, optics, statics and crystallology. And here main thing that we need to understand is, so here we are having two words, angle of elevation and angle of depression. So angle of elevation means the angle made by the eye of the person with the object, if the object is present above the person, right? Angle of depression means the observer will be above the object and the object will be below him, right? So these two things you need to understand, right? Angle of elevation means observer will be on the ground level and the object will be above him, whereas angle of depression means it is completely reverse. Okay, next, line of sight, LOS. So line of sight means the line which is connecting the observer's eye with the object. Okay, next, here we need to remember, so most of the cases, so height is represented by H and distance is represented by D. So the relation between these, and there will be an angle that is given, so we can correlate these with H is equal to D tan theta. So simply you can remember it as HDTV. So HDT, right? So height is equal to distance into tan theta. So if you want anything other than this, so then you can go with the diagrams. So here figures are very important. So when you know the figure, then only you can proceed with the problem. Okay, and at the same time you need to make use of all the trigonometric ratios. So most of the problems will be solved with tan theta, where you are going to find height as well as the distance. If other than those two, if anything is asked, then you need to go with the sin theta or cos theta, right? So these are the things that you need to remember. And one more thing, so this is a special case. See here, if this is alpha and this is its complementary angle, and if these distances, so if distance is P and this distance is Q, then what is the height of this particular object? So if you want to find the height of that particular object, since simply you can use the formula H is equal to root over P into Q. H is equal to root over P into Q. Right, next, moving on to the problems. So the line of sight is above the horizontal line and angle between the line of sight and horizontal line is called. So if line of sight is above the horizontal line, so that means, so what is telling, if the line of sight is above the horizontal line, then we call this angle as angle of elevation, right? So angle of elevation. So if it is below, so an observer at the top of the building, so observer is at the top and the target is on the ground, that means, so observer is at the top and the object is below, that means this angle is nothing but we call it as angle of depression. So these two things you need to remember. Next, height of the tower is 10 meters, the length of the shadow when altitude is 45 degrees. So this is a special case. So when theta is equal to 45, then height is equal to distance. Height is equal to distance. So what is height given? So height is 10, automatically its shadow is also 10 meters. So just remember. So length of the man of a, so the length of shadow of a man is equal to height of the man. So length of shadow is equal to height. So that means H is equal to D. So clearly it is angle 45 degrees. If a pole of 10 meters high, so height is equal to 10, shadow is also equal to 10, then sun's elevation is 45 degrees. Next, the ratio of length of rod. So the ratio of length of rod to the shadow. So length of rod to the shadow. So length of rod means height and the shadow is distance. So H by D is equal to what he has given, 1 by root 3. So H by D is nothing but tan theta here. So when tan theta is equal to 1 by root 3, so when theta is equal to 30 degrees. So clearly the answer is 30 degrees. So answer is 30 degrees. Next, moving on to one more question. So if the angle of elevation of a tower from a distance 100 meters, so D is equal to 100. Next, angle is given as 30 degrees. Then height, so H is equal to d tan theta. So directly if I substitute, so 100 into tan 30, so tan 30 is 1 by root 3. So what is the answer? 100 by root 3. Next, if a ladder 15 meters long, so here in this type of questions, so when ladder question comes, then you need to go with sine or cos, because a ladder is 15 meters long. That means, so ladder is always kept slantly, that means it is hypotenuse. Okay, so it is touching the height top of the wall. If the ladder makes an angle 60 degrees, so this angle is 60 degrees, then the height of the wall, so this height you need. So height is nothing but with respect to this angle, height is opposite, and we know the ladder is hypotenuse. So clearly we can apply sine 60 degrees. So sine 60 degrees is equal to height by 15. So this is nothing but root 3 by 2 is equal to h by 15. When you do cross multiplication, this becomes 15 root 3 by 2 is equal to height. So answer is option Bombay. Next, if the ratio of the height of the tower and length of its shadow, right, so h by d is equal to root 3 by 1. So root 3 by 1 means, so h by d is nothing but tan theta. So clearly tan, when it becomes root 3, when it is 60 degrees, so clearly 60. If you point on the ground 20 meter away, so that means distance is equal to 20, and the angle of elevation is 60 degrees, then the height of the tower, so h is equal to d tan theta, no? So 20 into tan 60 root 3, so 20 root 3. If the height of the tower is 100 root 3, so h is given, so h is equal to 100 root 3. Angle of elevation is asked from a point 100 meters, so distance is 100. So tan theta is equal to, what is the formula? H by d, so which gives me 100 root 3 by 100. So 100 gets cancelled, root 3. So in tan, when will you get root 3? At 60 degrees. So angle of elevation is 60 degrees. Next, moving on to one more question. Height is equal to root 3 times of its shadow. So h is equal to root 3 times of d. So clearly from this h by d is equal to root 3. So this is nothing but tan theta, no? It is possible at 60 degrees. Next, a kite. So in such type of questions also, since here we are using string, right? So string means, so we need to talk about hypotenuse. Okay. Now what is given? So a kite is flying with a string making an angle 30 degrees. The height of the kite is 15. So the height of the kite is asked. So we need to find out the height when string is 15 meters long. So this is 15. So clearly sine 30. So because opposite hypotenuse. So sine 30 is 1 by 2 is equal to h by 15. So when I do cross multiplication, h is equal to 15 by 2. So 15 by 2 is nothing but 7.5 meters. Next, a ladder. So again ladder problem came. So we need to draw the figure, so that you need to apply whether sine or cos, we need to decide. Okay, because length of ladder is asked. So length of ladder means either you can use sine theta or cos theta. So based on the given question. So ladder makes 60 degrees angle. So this is 60 degrees with the floor. Its lower end is at a distance of 3 meters. So here distance is given, height is not given, right? Then what is the length of the ladder? So let it be L. Now with respect to 60 degrees, it is adjacent and it is hypotenuse. That means we need to apply cos. So cos 60 degrees is equal to L by, 3 by L, because adjacent by hypotenuse, no? So 3 by L. What is the value of cos 60? Cos 60 is equal to 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is equal to 3 by L. On doing cross multiplication, L is equal to 6. So length of the ladder is 6 meters. If the length of the shadow of the tower of height 20 meters is 20 root 3. So while reading the question, you should be careful. So here beside height 20 meters is given, no? So that means h is equal to 20 and shadow is 20 root 3. So clearly h by d. So how much you are going to get? So 20 by 20 root 3 is nothing but 1 by root 3. It is nothing but tan theta value. So tan theta is 1 by root 3 for 30 degrees. If the angle of elevation of sun is 45 degrees, so length of shadow is 12 meters, then height of the tree is also 12 meters because 45 degrees. Right. Next, moving on to one more question. When we move away from the object, the angle of elevation. So what do you say? See here. So when you are near, you need to raise your head more, right? So when you want to move, raise your head more, that means angle is more. So when you move away, that means you need to, you can see the things in a simple way. So which you are familiar with the theater. So if you sit near the screen, you need to raise your head and see, right? So if you sit away from the screen, then so there is minimum angle of head you need to raise. So that means when you move away from the object, so clearly the angle of elevation decreases. The length of the shadow of the pole is 30 meters at some instant is the length of the shadow of a pole 30 meters high. So while reading you need to understand carefully, right? So height is given as 30 meters and the length of the shadow. So length of the shadow means distance. Distance is given as 10 root 3. Then what is the angle of elevation? So angle of elevation means nothing but finding out h by d. So h by d means 30 by 10 root 3. So 0 0 gets cancelled. So 3 in root 3 times. So it is root 3. Root 3 means 60 degrees. Next, moving on to one more question. A tree is broken at a height of 10 meters above the ground. So above the ground, after 10 meters, a tree is broken and it is touching the ground. So there was a tree, right? So this is the tree actually. So due to some storm or something, it has broken at this particular point at a height of 10 meters. And this particular part is hanging here and touching the ground at a distance of something. We don't know the distance. So has he given the distance? So he did not give the distance, but he has given it is making angle 30 degrees. Then the height of the tree is. So height of the tree means, so before it is broken, so you need to find the height. So clearly this particular part, so if I consider this as x, then this particular whole x part is fallen here, right? So clearly we know opposite, we need to find out hypotenuse. So clearly sin 30 is equal to 10 by x. So sin 30 is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is equal to 10 by x. So x is equal to 20. So if x is equal to 20, that is nothing but this is equal to 20. Then the height of the tree 20 plus 10 is nothing but 30 meters. So before breaking, the height of the tree is 30 meters. Next, the angle of elevation of top of a building is, so of 50 meters high building. So there is a 50 meters high building. From a point on the ground is 45 degrees. So 45 degrees means simply you need to understand height is equal to distance. The distance of the point from foot of the building is 50 meters. So no need of doing anything, right? If sun's elevation is 60 degrees, then a pole of height 6 meters cast a shadow of. So cast a shadow of means you need to find out the distance, right? So from this apply HTTV formula. So h is equal to d tan theta. So when I substitute the values, height is 6 is equal to d into tan 60. So tan 60 is equal to root 3. So from this d is equal to 6 by root 3. So do you have that option? So we don't have. So it becomes 6 can be written as, so 3 into 2 by root 3. So this 3 in root 3 gets cancelled root 3 times. So answer is 2 root 3. So answer is 2 root 3. If the altitude of the sun is 60 degrees, height of a vertical tower that will cast a shadow of length 30 meters. So he has given distance is equal to 30. Then he is asking height. So h is equal to d tan theta. So 30 into tan 60. So tan 60 is root 3. So 30 root 3 is the answer. If the top of two poles of height is 20 meters, so one is 20 meters height and the other one is 14 meters height. So that means, so when you join this, so this part is 6 and this part is 14. Now the wire makes an angle of 30 degrees, right? So 30 degrees, then the length of the wire. So length of the wire means this one now, which is nothing but my hypotenuse, right? So using the concept of sin theta, so sin 30 is equal to opposite by hypotenuse, right? So sin 30 is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is equal to opposite by hypotenuse. So length of the wire. So from this L is equal to 12 meters. So clearly the length of the wire is 12 meters. Next, moving on to one more question. So length of the shadow of a tower on a plain ground is root 3 times of the height. So length of the shadow means distance. So distance is equal to root 3 times of the height. So from this h by d is equal to, So what will you get? H by d 1 by root 3. So 1 by root 3 means tan 30 degrees. So the angle of elevation is 30 degrees. The angle of depression of a car. So here we got a problem on depression. So angle of depression of a car is standing on the ground from the top of a 75 meters hour. So this is 75 meters is 30 degrees. So if this is 30, then this is also 30, because alternate angles are equal. Next, what is asking? The distance of the car from the base. Distance of the car from the base. Right? Now, by using this concept, what we can say? We need to find out the distance. So clearly h is equal to d tan theta. So 75 is equal to d into 1 by root 3, because 30 degrees, no? So from this d is equal to 75 root 3. So where is the answer? Option C. If the angle of elevation of top of a tower from a point on the ground which is 30 meters away. So 30 meters away means distance is given, theta is given, and is asking height. So clearly height is equal to distance into tan theta. So 30 into tan 30. Tan 30 is 1 by root 3. So this cancels 10 root 3 times. So clearly answer is 10 root 3. Next, a kite is attached. So again kite problem. So we need to draw the figure. So kite is attached to a string if the height of the kite is 60 meters and the string makes an angle 30 degrees. Then the length of the string. So length of the string is nothing but hypotenuse. So directly apply sine. So sine 30 is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is equal to opposite by hypotenuse. So when you cross multiply, L is equal to 120 meters. So length of the wire is 120 meters. Next, a man observed the top of an electric pole at an angle of elevation of 60 degrees. When the observation point is 8 meters away, that means this is the distance given, angle is given. Then height of the pole. So again height is equal to distance into tan theta. So distance is 8, tan 60 is root 3. So 8 root 3 is my answer. Next, moving on to one more question. So from the figure given, the length of BC. So is asking this total length, right? Now, if I consider the first triangle, so triangle ABD. So from triangle ABD, so this is opposite. So if you want to find adjacent, so then directly 10 root 3 by BD is equal to tan 60. Tan 60 is nothing but root 3. So root 3 to root 3 gets cancelled. So from this BD is equal to 10. That means this length is 10 units. Next, already what do we know? Since this is 45 degrees, this height will be equal to this distance, right? Already what is given? So BC is equal to 10 root 3. So no need of doing this also. So answer is 10 root 3. Okay. So if you want this, then this is nothing but 10. Okay. Next, moving on to this question. So what he has given? So this angle is 45. So if this angle is 45, then this angle is 45 degrees. And this whole angle is 60 degrees. That means this angle is 60 degrees by alternate angles concept. Now what is the question? So which two line segments are equal? So since this is 45 degrees, that means this is 45 degrees. So clearly this PQ will be equal to this QS. PQ will be equal to QS. So where is PQ and QS? So PQ is equal to QS. Next, the elevation of sunset is 30 degrees. Length of shadow cast by a tower of 150 feet height. So height is given. So h is equal to d tan theta. So 150 is equal to distance, that is nothing but length of shadow into tan 30. So tan 30 value is 1 by root 3. So from this, length of shadow is equal to 150 root 3. So answer is 150 root 3 feet. Next, moving on to one more question. If a flagstaff 6 meters high placed on the top of a tower throws a shadow of 2 root 3 meters along the ground, then the angle that made by the, so he is asking about angle. So angle means tan theta is equal to h by d. So what is height here? So 6 meters high. So 6 meters by length of shadow is 2 root 3. So 2 root 3. So 6 again I can write as 2 into 3. So this 2 gets cancelled. This root 3 in 3 root 3 times. So tan theta is equal to root 3. Theta is equal to 60 degrees. Next, the top of the two poles is connected by a wire. So there are two poles. This is 20 meters and this is 14 meters. Now these two are connected by a wire. So this length of wire I need. So the angle given here is 60 degrees, right? So previously here it is given 30 degrees. Now this particular part is 6. So by applying sin 60 is root 3 by 2. So root 3 by 2 is equal to 6 by L, right? Next we doing cross multiplication. So L is equal to 12 by root 3. Again this 12 I can write it as 4 into 3. So this root 3 in 3, root 3 times. So answer is 4 root 3 meters. Next, an observer 1.6 meters tall is 20 root 3 meters away from the tower. The angle of elevation from the eye to the top of the tower is 30 degrees, then the height of the tower. Okay, so here the height of the observer is given. So height of observer is 1.6 meters. So this is nothing but height of the tower. So if this is 1.6, this is also 1.6. So if I want to write the height of the tower, then I need to consider the sum of these two. Next, what he has given, the distance here is 20 root 3. So if this is 20 root 3, this is also 20 root 3 because it is rectangle. Now angle of elevation is 30 degrees, right? So I need this h value and I am going to add to this 1.6. Now this is 30 degrees, I know adjacent and I want opposite. So from this tan 30. So tan 30 is nothing but 1 by root 3 is equal to h by 20 root 3. So root 3 gets cancelled. So h is equal to 20. So if h is equal to 20, so from this, what is the value? 20 plus 1.6 is nothing but the height of the tower, which is nothing but 21.6. So answer is 21.6. So from the ship mast means, so you might have seen the ships. So in the ships you will be having a big chimney, right? So that is nothing but we call it as ship mast. So this ship mast is 150 meters high. The angle of depression, so there is one boat. So from this top, so they are observing a boat at an angle of 45 degrees. So clearly 45 degrees means, so this 150 will be equal to this 150. Then this distance is 150. If the length of the shadow on the of a pole 60 meter high, so height is 60 meters. So height is 60 meters and shadow is 20 root 3. So clearly h by d, which is nothing but 60 by 20 root 3. So 0 gets cancelled. So 3 times, again root 3 in 3, root 3 times. It is nothing but 60 degrees. Next, moving on to one more question. The length of the kite flying at 100 meter above the ground with the angle of elevation. So length of kite string. So length of kite string is nothing but L. Now what he has given, this is 100 meters above and making an angle 60 degrees. So clearly sin 60. So sin 60 is equal to root 3 by t is equal to 100 by L. So on doing cross multiplication, L is equal to 200 by root 3. So answer is 200 by root 3. Next, a pole of 10 meters long rests slantly against a wall. So here also the pole is not vertical, it is slant, of length 10 meters long, and that means he has given hypotenuse and it is making 60 degrees angle with the wall, so with the horizontal. So how far? So that means he is asking about this distance. So how far is the foot of the pole from the wall? That means, so with respect to this angle, this is adjacent. That means what we need to apply cos theta. So cos 60. So cos 60 is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is equal to adjacent. So d by 10. So in 2 table. So how many times? 5 times. So from this distance is equal to 5 meters. So clearly d is equal to 5 meters. Next, if the angle of elevation of top of a tower at a distance of 120 meters. So this is distance from its foot on the horizontal is found to be 30 degrees. Height of the tower. So height is equal distance into tan theta. So tan 30. So tan 30 is 1 by root 3. Again this 120 I can write it as, so 40 into 3. So this 3 in root 3 times. So clearly the answer is 40 root 3. But here 120 by root 3 is also given now. So this is also answer. So by combining these two, option D is my answer. Okay, next moving on to one more question. The angles of depressions of two ships from the top of a lighthouse are 45 degrees and 30 degrees respectively. So this is lighthouse and the angles of depressions of two ships from the top of the towards east. So that means towards east means, so both are on the same side of the lighthouse. Both are on the same side of the lighthouse. So here so what are the angles? 45 degrees and 30 degrees. So 45 degrees and 30 degrees means 45 will be nearer to this and 30 will be somewhat far. Now what he has given, if the ships are 100 meters apart, that means this distance is 100. Now clearly what is the height of the lighthouse? So clearly what do we know? If the height of the lighthouse is h, then this distance is also h, because there 45 degrees is there. So if 45 degrees is there, height is equal to distance. Now using this 30 degrees concept, that means if I want to use 30 degrees, I need to make use of this whole triangle, right? So from that, tan 30 is equal to, so what is tan 30? So tan 30 is equal to 1 by root 3. So 1 by root 3 is equal to, what is opposite? H by 100 plus h. Since I need a height, so doing cross multiplication, so 100 plus h is equal to h root 3. So transposing this h and taking h as common, this becomes root 3 minus 1 is equal to 100. So h is equal to 100 by root 3 minus 1. So do we have this option? So since we don't have this option, so what we are going to do is we are going to rationalize the denominator. So root 3 minus 1, so rationalizing factor is root 3 plus 1. So from that what I am going to get, 100 into root 3 plus 1 divided by, this is nothing but a plus b into a minus b, which gives me 3 minus 1, which is nothing but 2. So 2 in 100, it cancels 50 times. So 50 into root 3 plus 1. Option C is my answer, right? Next, moving on to one more question. So from the top of a cliff of 25 meters high, the angle of elevation of top of a tower. So there is one more tower. So here he has observed the top of the tower. So from the top of a cliff of 25 meters high, the angle of elevation of a tower is found to be equal to angle of depression of the foot of the tower. So that means, so what we can say, if this is alpha, then this is also alpha. Okay, so this is alpha and this is also alpha. Then the height of the tower. So he's asking about height of the tower. If this is 25, so this is also 25. Okay, now this particular part if I find, then I can add this so that I can get the height of the tower. Now from this clearly what I can say, so if this distance is d, then this is also d, right? So from the top of a cliff, the angle of elevation of a tower is found to be equal to angle of depression of foot of the tower. Okay, then the height of the tower is, so from this what I can say, tan alpha is equal to, so for suppose if this is h, so h by d. Next here if I apply the same thing, tan alpha is equal to, what is here, h 25 by d, but these two are equal now. So tan alpha is equal to h by t and tan alpha is equal to h by d. So on comparing this, so h is equal to 25. So this is 25. So clearly the height of the tower is 50 meters. Understood? Next, moving on to one more question. If the angle of elevation of a cloud from a 20 meters above the lake is 30 degrees, the angle of reflection is 60 degrees, then the height of the cloud in the lake. So this is 200 meters. The angle of elevation of a cloud from a point 200 meters above the lake, right? Now this is the lake. So from this lake, so there is a 200 meters high cloud, right? Now the angle of elevation, so this angle of elevation is 30 degrees, and at the same time the angle of depression of its reflection in the lake is, the angle of elevation of a cloud from a point 200 meters above a lake is 30 degrees, right? So what he has given, so this is not the figure, the angle, if the angle of elevation of a cloud from a point 20 meters above the lake, so there is a lake here, so above this lake, so there is a 200 meters, so from this 200 meters, so he is observing the cloud. Okay, so he is observing the cloud, then this is the height of the cloud, so this is h. Now what he has given, so from this point he is observing, so this is 30 degrees, right? So from the same point the angle of depression in the, so since this is the lake, right, so the reflection will fall somewhere here. That particular reflection is observed from the same point, then this angle of depression is 60 degrees. Then what is the height of the cloud? Now from the surface of the lake, so if this is height h, then this height is also h, because so from the surface, so above how much the distance will be, the same distance will be below also, right? Now from this what I am going to find, height of the cloud. So height of the cloud means I need to find out the value of h. For suppose this is d, this distance is d, then if I apply tan theta, so this is 200, no, then this is 200 minus h. Okay, so this is h minus 200, sorry, h is bigger, no, so h is bigger value, so this becomes h minus 200. So from this tan theta is equal to h minus 200, so tan 30, no, so this is tan 30, so tan 30 is equal to h minus 200 by d. So what is tan 30? 1 by root 3, so 1 by root 3 is equal to h minus 200 by d. So when I do cross multiplication, d is equal to root 3 h minus 200 root 3, right? Next, moving on to this big triangle, right? So tan 60, so tan 60 is equal to root 3 is equal to opposite, which is nothing but 200 plus h by d. So from this also d is equal to 200 plus h by root 3, right? So this is d and this is also d. Since both are d's, so both are equal, right? So based on that what we can say, so root 3 into h minus 200 is equal to 200 plus h by root 3. So when I cross multiply with root 3, this becomes 3, so 3h minus 600 is equal to 200 plus h. Now when I transpose this h, it becomes 2h is equal to minus 600, if I transpose it becomes 800, so h is equal to 400. So height of the cloud is 400 meters, right? Next, it is found that on walking x meters towards a chimney in a horizontal line through its base, the elevation of its top changes from 30 degrees to 60 degrees. Then the height of the chimney is what he has given. So in a triangle on walking x meters, so on walking x meters, so this is height of the chimney, right? So on walking x meters, so what happened, so the angle of elevation changes from 30 degrees to 60 degrees. So 30 degrees to 60 degrees means he is walking towards the chimney, right? So 30 degrees and this is 60 degrees. Now for suppose if this distance is d, now using the smaller triangle, so this small right angle triangle, so tan 60, so root 3 is equal to what I am going to get, h by d. So from this, so what is the value of d? So d is equal to h by root 3, so keep it aside. Next, by using this concept, so big triangle, so tan 30, so what is the value of tan 30? Tan 30 is equal to 1 by root 3 is equal to h by x plus d. So replace d with h by 3, then what will you get? So 1 by root 3 is equal to h by x plus h by root 3. So when I take LCM, so what I am going to get, so root 3x plus, so this root 3 will come to numerator. So when I do cross multiplication, so what I am going to get, so this root 3 into root 3 becomes 3h. So 3h is equal to, so what I am going to get, 3h is equal to root 3x plus h. Now since I need h value, so if I take h to this side, then this becomes 2h is equal to root 3x, h is equal to root 3x by 2. So option C is my answer, right? Next, moving on to one more question. So the tops of two poles are 16 meters and 10 meters connected by a wire of length L meters. If the wire makes an angle 30 degrees with the horizontal, then L is equal to, so here directly you can apply sin theta. So sin 30 is equal to opposite, so opposite means the difference of these two, which is nothing but 6 by length of the wire is L. So from this sin 30 is nothing but 1 by 2, so 1 by 2 is equal to 6 by L, L is equal to 12 meters. So what is the answer? L is equal to 12 meters. So if you can draw the figure, so you can directly draw and get it, right? Next, so one more question. So I am going to erase this. So what is the question given? So if a 1.5 meter tall girl stands at a distance of 3 meters, lamppost casts a shadow of 4.5 meters on the ground, then the height of the lamppost is. So the question is, so there is a lamppost. Okay, so there is a lamppost. So lamppost is having some height h. Now there is a girl who is standing who is height of 1.5 meters, right? So she is standing at a distance of 3 meters and she casts a shadow of 4.5 meters. Now if you observe this, so clearly these are going to form similar triangles. So these are going to form similar triangles, right? So from this, simply what we can say, this is right angle and this is also right angle. So this is parallel to this, and what he has given, so he did not give any angle, right? So from this, what we can say, since these two are parallel because those are perpendicular to the given line, so if this angle is theta, then using the concept of similarity, what we can say, so 1.5 by 4.5, so 1.5 by 4.5 is equal to, so this height h is with respect to this big triangle, no? So that means h by 3 plus 4.5. So this is 3 plus 4.5. So 15 3 is 45. So this goes one time, this goes 3 times. Now when I do cross multiplication, so 3h is equal to 4 plus 3 is 7.5. So clearly h is equal to 7.5 by 3, which gives me 2.5. So answer is 2.5 meters. So height of the lamppost is 2.5 meters. Next, the angle of elevation of top of two vertical towers as seen from middle point of the line joining the feet of the towers. So there are two towers. So the angles of elevations are observed as 60 degrees and 30 degrees. So 60 degrees means, so this is 60 degrees and this is 30 degrees, and what he has given, from the middle point, that means this length is equal to this length. So if these two lengths are equal, then heights are different. Okay, then the ratio of their heights. So if for suppose 60 is first given, 30 is next given, so 60 30, so h1 h2 correspondingly you need to consider. Next, so from this what I can say, so if this distance is d, then this distance is also d. So from this tan 60 is equal to h1 by d. So from this tan 30 is equal to h2 by d. What do I need? h1 by h2. Simply divide these two. So h1 by h2, that means, so when you divide, dd gets cancelled because they are in denominators. Then what I am going to get? Tan 60 by tan 30. So which gives me root 3 by 1 by root 3. So from this becomes root 3 into root 3, which gives me 3. So answer is 3:1. So answer is 3:1. Next, from a point 240 meters away from the foot, that means distance is given, angle of elevation is 30. So directly height is equal to 240 into 1 by root 3 because tan 30. So 240 means 83, sir. So this goes 80 into root 3 times. So answer is 80 into root 3. So what is the value of 80 into root 3? So 80 into 1.732. So root 3 value is 1.732. So this becomes 80. So 8 into 17.32. So when you multiply, you are going to get some answer, right? So let us see that. So 1.732 into 8. So 8 to 16. So 8 3 is 24, 25. 8 7s are 56, 58. So 8 1s are 8, 13. So 13856. So since 3 decimal values, so what I am going to get? 138.56. So which is nothing but my option, Bombay, right? Next, what he has given, in triangle ABC, AD is perpendicular to BC. So in triangle ABC, AD, so in triangle ABC, AD is perpendicular to BC. Angle B is equal to 30 degrees. So if angle B is equal to 30, this angle is, so angle C is equal to 60. Then automatically this angle is 90 only, no? AD is equal to 7 root 3. So AD is equal to 7 root 3. Then BC is equal to how much? So he is asking you to find out this distance, this total distance. So this is 30 and this is 60 and this is 7 root 3. So 7 root 3. So if I apply tan 30, so in this triangle ABD, if I apply tan 30 is nothing but 1 by root 3 is equal to 7 root 3 by BD. So when I cross multiply, BD is equal to 7 3s are 21. So this length is 21. Next, if I apply 60 here, so tan 60. So tan 60 is equal to root 3. Root 3 is equal to 7 root 3 by CD. Root 3 gets cancelled. So CD is equal to 7. So when I add these two, 21 plus 7 is 28 meters. Next, the top of 15 meter high. So height is given, makes an angle of 60 degrees with the bottom of the electric pole. The angle of elevation of 30 degrees with the top of the pole. The height of the electric pole is. So what he has given, so here we are having two objects. The top of a 15 meter high tower. So there is a 15 meter high tower, makes an angle of 60 degrees angle with the bottom of the electric pole. So with the bottom of electric pole it makes 60 degrees angle. Next, an angle of elevation of 30 degrees with the top of the pole, right? So with the top of the pole, the angle of elevation of 30 degrees with the top of the pole. So what he has given, the top of 15 meter high tower makes an angle of elevation of 60 degrees with the bottom of an electric pole and the angle of elevation of 30 degrees with the top of the pole. So this is tower and this makes 30 degrees angle of elevation with the top of the pole. Then the height of the pole is. Now from this, using this 60 degrees we can find out this distance, right? So tan 60 is nothing but root 3 is equal to 15 by this distance. So from this distance is equal to 15 by root 3. So 15 I can write as 3 5s. So distance is equal to simply 5 root 3. So this distance is 5 root 3. Now by making use of this angle, so 30 degrees, we can find out the height of the pole. So from this, height is equal to d tan theta only, no? So 5 root 3 into tan 30, 1 by root 3. So root 3 gets cancelled. So answer is 5 meters. Right. Next, moving on to one more question. So altitude AD of triangle ABC. So there is a triangle ABC in which angle A is obtuse. So angle A is obtuse means we need to take an obtuse angle triangle. So this is angle A and altitude. So what he has given, in which angle A is obtuse, the altitude AD of, so angle AD is 10 centimeters. So altitude AD of, so from here altitude is drawn. So from here altitude is drawn. So this is nothing but 10 centimeters, right? Now if BD is equal to, so if this is B, this is C, if BD is equal to 10 centimeters and CD is equal to 10 root 3 centimeters, then what is the angle BAC is asking. So what is angle BAC? So this is 10, no? This is also 10, no? That means clearly this is 45 degrees because these two angles, so these two side lengths are equal. So since this is a right angle triangle, so in right angle triangle height and distance both are equal. That means this is 45 degrees. Clearly this is opposite and this is adjacent. So 10 by 10 root 3, 1 by root 3. That means this is 30 degrees. So 30 plus 45, 75. Clearly this is 105 degrees. So this total angle is 105 degrees. Okay, next moving on to one more question. So an observer of height 1.8 meters is 13.2 meters away from the palm tree. Now the height of the person is 1.8 meters and he is 13.2 meters away from a palm tree. So clearly, so what is the angle that is being made? 45 degrees. Now what is he asking? The height of the palm tree. Since we know this is 45 degrees, this is 13.2 only, no? This is also 13.2 only, because this is 45, then this distance is equal to this height. But here 1.8 is nothing but height of the person, right? So if I want to find the height of the palm tree, then we need to add these two. So 13.2 plus 1.8 is nothing but 15 meters. Next, in a triangle PQR, angle Q is equal to 90 degrees. So there is a triangle PQR where angle Q is equal to 90 degrees. PQ is equal to 100 root 3, PR is equal to 200. Then what is angle PRQ? PRQ means this angle is asking you to find. So clear. So we have opposite, we have hypotenuse. So which rule? So sin theta. So sin theta is equal to 100 root 3 by 200. So clearly this goes 2 times. So root 3 by 2 is nothing but, so theta is equal to 60 degrees. So option C is my answer, right? So thank you for watching the video. So stay connected to the channel and all the best for the exam.